Every day I interview different coaches and athletes, basketball, some football. But I've never shared with you the man behind all of this, my story. Now you need to buckle up because you're not ready for this. All right, this is where we'll begin. So it's like 2006, no, 2007. I'm on the southwest side of Chicago at Hearst Elementary coaching. Hold on. So I was getting my master's in my Type 75 because I thought I wanted to be a principal at that time. It's my second fall trying to finish. And the kids come to me and they say, Mr. London, can you coach us? Our coach can't coach anymore. His other job conflicts. Well, dude, I grew up in a white racist home, so like basketball really wasn't a thing. I mean, we had a hoop in my driveway because everyone else did, but it really wasn't pushed that or football. I had to play baseball. Ugh. Anyways, I'll get to that. So I end up talking to my professors at Roosevelt and I tell them, the deal. And they said, just make sure you get your work in because I said I'm going to have to miss some classes. So, I agreed and I'm OCD. So I got my work in. So my first game is that night, the night they asked me. The night they asked me. The day they asked me that night. So here we are. We're playing at Tarkington Elementary. You can Google map it. I think it's called like Tarkington School of Excellence. It's our first game. I have a faux hawk, my diamond earrings. I look good, I look good. So we played Tarkington and we end up losing. I know I was running up and down the sidelines just screaming a bunch of shit. I didn't know anything about hoops. I mean, I knew how to shoot. That was about it. So, and back in the day, for CPS Elementary, you would play at different schools. So throughout the week, we would travel to different, elementary schools. And we were at Tarkington. And after the game, the home principal is supposed to walk you to the bus. And they did not. There was a brawl that broke out and it gets pushed outside. Now, listen, dude, I'll keep it real with y'all. I'm from Glenview. I mean, the south side of Glenview, but I'm from Glenview. So I wasn't used to this. So a brawl breaks out between my kids and the other team and some of the students of the school. It gets pushed outside. I look down the block. Here comes the block. I'm not lying to you. Here comes the block. Just swarms of people. So now I'm nervous. I went from like, whoa, this is awesome to, oh my God, this is some crazy, crazy shit. So my kids end up making a circle around me. They throw me on the bus. We get on the bus. We pull out onto the main street, rocks and bottles being thrown, windows of the bus breaking. Bus. That was my first game ever coaching basketball. So that weekend, I sat with Mr. Brian Rome, who is, I believe, a dean at Highland Park High School. Yes, my friend Brian. We were PE teachers together, and we went to elementary, middle, and high school together. So he came over to my apartment, and he kind of tried to teach me the game. I lived by the Hooters by O'Hare, just on Higgins there at the time. So we probably ordered that, a little to-go action. So he, tries to kind of force feed me the game, teaches me over 2 days. The next week we play McKay Elementary, and I learned about this thing called full court trap. We won 28-2. The 2 points were on free throws. So we get outside again, no principal, and it was snowing and snow on the ground, and my kids are fighting the other team because the fans anytime. Listen, dude, it was just crazy. Kids from different neighborhoods coming into different neighborhoods, winning, just wasn't a recipe for success. I loved it though. Let me fucking tell you. So we I get on the bus. I still remember looking off the bus. I was in like the fifth row. The windows cracked a little bit, and it looked like red Kool-Aid all over the snow because my dudes just beat the crap out of these other kids. Um, I'll be honest, we didn't start any fights that year. None. We didn't start. It would all like we'd be in the handshake line and they would start pushing. It was it was nuts. So then the next game we play I forgot the name of the school. So we play them and we win 56-4. We were just trapping and I didn't really know about the common courtesy aspect of basketball yet. Mind you, this was my first time, right? So then we have our first home game, and I had the DJ set up from the Leclerc courts. So if remember from the south by Midway, 47th and Cicero, the courts. Anyways, I had a DJ set up, and Soldier Boy just came out. I still remember we were listening to Soldier Boy to warm up, and we were playing Sawyer. Yeah, I think it was Sawyer Elementary. Excuse me. And we're warming up, and our basketball goes on the other side. So coaches, dads, kids, moms, a ball from the other team rolls on your side. What do? You roll it back, you hand it back, right? You do, tap it back. Nope, this coach kicked the ball as hard as he could. It hit one of my kids in the face, and him and the players started laughing. I'm not lying. That was like my first experience, like what? So the game starts and it finishes. We win 104 or 107-3. 3 points were off free throws. In the handshake line, good game always. And I told the coach, you know, how I felt about, his actions before the game. And he ended up apologizing, which was shocking. So we end up going through the city, right? We end up playing Mays Elementary, Jermaine Morgan, Low Lawrence, excuse me, Tommy Hamilton. And this is where it gets crazy. So we're there, I believe it's city championship. We're at Robeson, which was off the Dan Ryan in Englewood, Gennaro Pargo, the Pargo brothers. So we start the game, and I'll be honest, I was the only white guy in there. Besides, I'll tell you who at the end. And I am coaching, and it's a good game. Like we're rehearsed, like we weren't supposed to be any good. So it's a good game, and all of a sudden, from my left side, a security guard comes over and he grabs me by my elbow. I still remember, I can still feel it, and he tells me I have to come with him, bro. Mid game, mid game, mid game. So I'm like in my late 20s. I'm like, get off me, right? So a mom screams from the stands that I called my kids the N word. What? So immediately my kids know because Coach London has a rule that I don't want to hear that word around me, especially with the rap and all that shit. I don't want to hear it. Listen, I have biracial children. I don't want to hear it. I've always been like that, even before I got married. So my kids stand up and they start yelling at the woman, yelling at the security guard, right? I go to call timeout and the ref looks at me, holds his whistle in his mouth, and starts walking the other way. I'm not lying. I was getting railroaded, but I didn't even know what that meant, right? So, oh my God. So security guard keeps pulling on me. This mom is screaming that I'm yelling this stuff, and right, I'm so confused. We end up getting the timeout. My kids, and I didn't even get to talk to them about basketball. We're trying to deal with the fans. Now she has all these other fans irate. They're throwing shit at me. So then the game continues. We end up losing by with free throws at the end. Whatever. Um, People are screaming at me, yelling at me. And I end up walking, I remember, to center court, and Tom Livatino and Randall Montgomery approached me and asked me to be the freshman coach at Lincoln Park. That was how I got my first high school gig. So fast forward, I'm at Lincoln Park. We recruit a squad, and one of them's Lil Reese Tavares. Yeah, from 63rd, Lil Reese. He was one of them. I'll give you a good story. Um, so he was part of my awesome freshman class. So it's fall workouts. And if you've been to Lincoln Park, there's like a training gym or like a small gym, and then there's the varsity gym. So we're in the small gym, obviously, because we're the freshmen. And Tavares, or Lil Reese, as you know him, he asked me if he could go get water. Well, of course, right? Go get water. I don't care. All of a sudden, we hear like loud commotion and just like crazy stuff in the hall, right? And they go, I peek out, and there's a dude just like laying out, and his teeth were next to him like Tic Tacs. Apparently, he was going through Tavares's locker, and Tavares caught him. I don't know. I don't know, but crazy to see that, right? Kid has like Tic Tacs next to him. So we end up going through the Lincoln Park season. I have a great season. It was awesome. Livatino left to go to Loyola. So I end up at a charter school on the south side where I met my beautiful, wonderful piece of chocolate wife. And I started the basketball program, the high school program there. At that school, I'll give you, let's see where I'll start. Okay. One day my car wasn't working well. I think it might have been winter, so I took the Metro in and then got on the green line. I get on the green line at Ogilvy, and then I would take that to 63rd. So I would be there at like 6 in the morning in the winter. So if you knew that, it's dark. So one of the times I'm on the green line, I remember getting to the Indiana stop, and a dude gets on, and I had my BlackBerry and my headphones in. And he comes up, and I just, right, miles, because I can't hear. I have my, I'm listening to music, probably like 311 or something. And he ends up asking me, he says, I pull out a headphone, and he goes, give me your shit. And I'm like, what are we in a movie? Give me your shit. Right. So I look at him, and I put my earpiece back in. Mind you, dude, Shorty's like 5'6", 5'7". I'm 5'10". At the time, I'm in the best shape of my life, right? So it wasn't going to work out for him. I end up standing up, and we end up like kind of like scuffling a little bit, and he realizes that I'm not going to give him my shit, and he gets off at one of the next stops. It was hilarious. So a few weeks later, actually, I was taking the red line to the yellow home, and I was outside on the Irving Park platform. And I always would stand with my back to the bus shelter. So, you can't come from behind. And this dude, I again had my headphones in. Dude keeps walking by me, right? And I'm like, oh, you kind of know, right? Well, for those of you that don't, yes, I knew. So he ends up approaching me, and puts his hands here, and his like knuckles pinch a little bit of my skin. Bro, I flipped my shit. I grabbed him, and I tried to throw him on the train tracks. The dude ran down the platform. I ran after him. Come here, motherfucker. Come here. He ended up running off. The CTA security, wasn't even cops security, were like my best friends. They thought it was hilarious. So now I'd say a year or two pass. We're outside. I'm laying it all on you right now, man. You're getting all my stories. So I'm outside my school on the south side, and do like after school duty. So just make sure the kids clear out, and the kids are safe. And there was a group of dudes from the neighborhood, teenagers. One of them, they're walking through, and I say, "Hey, man, I don't want to have to be an adult. Can you all go on the other side so I don't have to listen to my boss?" So they end up telling me some choice words and what they thought about me. I ended up telling them what I thought about their choice words. They came over, put me up against the school, and put a gun to my chin. And I couldn't even tell you what they were saying to me, right? But I just remember I remember it was like blue sky. There were a few clouds. And I was just looking up. And I could just feel that, right? And one of my buddies was a cop in the neighborhood, so happily, like a Jesus moment. He comes running down the sidewalk with his gun drawn. The dudes run away. Another time, I was at a mobile station on the south side, and I would only pull my debit card out of my car, and I would go and I would swipe, and then so one day, I get out, I go to pump gas, I swipe, and I feel like a poke in my back, right? And I'll be honest with you, I thought it was like a friend or like one of my students fucking around, right? And it was, I could hear this young voice asking me for my money or my phone. Told him I only had my debit. The convenience store, gas station worker, or whatever, comes running out screaming. Thank God the kid didn't freak out and pull the trigger. He ended up turning and running away across 63rd Street. I'll never forget that. That one was nuts. Um, let's see what else we got. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on to some AAU stuff. See if I can remember any. Yes, yes. So I have Asa Thomas, Ryan Cohn, Sam Rohn, Griff DeHia, a bunch of dudes from that year on an eighth grade team. And we've been together since like third grade. We finally made it deep in the NY2LA like June event, the end of the season thing. And I'll never forget, I draw up a play to win it, a three. We get the look. Asa gets tackled in the shot, and they call it on the ground. Problem was there was like point 0.2 left. I'll never forget that. I'll give you another one. So Jeremy Fears, yep, Michigan State. He's playing on my team. Ryan Cohn, similar guys. I think Danny Wolf might have played that game. So we're playing, and Jeremy and a kid from the other team kind of start going at it a little bit, a little pushing, right? This is awesome. This is awesome. Jeremy's dad storms the court and grabs him and starts yelling at him. Ask me why. Because he was pissed Jeremy did not swing. He grabbed, you better fucking swing next time. Can I tell you that is one of the greatest things I've ever experienced? And me and some dads, we still talk about that. To this day, we still talk about that. Back to Woodlawn. I remember getting in my red Jeep, and I was driving to a Walgreens, and a dude came out of one corner, a dude came out of another corner, and they started literally shooting over the hood of my Jeep. like out of a movie, dude, like over the hood of my Jeep. I was frozen. They stop and then they walk away. I continued on. I went to Walgreens. I got some candy. I mean, what was I going to do? I was hungry. I wanted some candy. So I went and I got my Mamba, possibly a ginger ale. However, that was mind boggling. I was in a meeting. I remember we were on the second floor and I was like daydreaming out the window. Dude rides his bike through the park in an orange hoodie and starts shooting at people on 65th Street and then continues riding his bike like nothing happened. My principal at the time sprinted out after the guy. You got to think of this dude. He's in like dress clothes and dress shoes, and this dude is sprinting after a dude that was just shooting people. I mean, I admire the guy, but that was, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I had another thing where I was outside doing after school duty, and a Cadillac pulled up on 65th, and dude started throwing cinder blocks through the window and then shooting out from the side windows at each other. The craziest part, the kids didn't flinch. The kids didn't flinch. Everyone outside was just like, no, 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 no. It was nuts. But let me get back to my basketball journey. So I end up coaching at Lincoln Park. We have a great season. I end up at the charter school. I start a varsity program. We had two teams I started the season with. I finished the season with 6 kids because I don't play about grades or behavior. Some people want to, win. I want kids to win in life, and I stick to my expectations. I don't give a shit if we're playing for a state championship. I want children to be successful and not short term, but long term success. So I end up owning a company called Illinois Old School with Scott Lidskin and Pat Woods. Pat Woods is the AD at Bolingbrook. He was the head coach at St. Charles East in Ridgewood. Fun fact, always says he lost his amateur status when he did a commercial with Michael Jordan when he was younger. I have yet to see the commercial, but I've heard about the commercial. So I had this company, and we had awesome elite teams. One here, Michael Orrs, who's a D2 assistant now, Rocco Belcaster, David Chapman, Mike Fleming, who went to I think Bucknell. I mean, no, I'm. Um, I know we have ice packs. Sorry, had to do a little PE teacher stuff and look for some band aids. Not my class though. So I end up with Illinois Old School. We had all these awesome teams. Reggie Johnson's playing overseas. Elliot, what was his name? Elliot. Played at St. Joe's. His crafty guard, I can't think of his name. We had Mike Brooks, Scotty Lindsay, Damaducci, um, Sean Dwyer, Mickey Laboja, Jalen Brooks. I mean, dude, I can go down the list. We had the Mackey twins. I mean, our teams were loaded. So I'll give you a good one. Late night, Vegas, Durango, playing the Chicago Demons. And Vince Carter's coaching the Demons. And for us was Brandon Aldridge, who was an assistant for Gene Pingador at St. Joe's. And Brandon was coaching our team, and it's late night, man. And it's crazy game going back and forth. Reggie Johnson, AJ Patty, Jawan Tony. Um, God, trying to think who else was on that squad. So they're playing an awesome Demons team. It's going back and forth. And I remember Brandon called timeout and said one of the coolest things ever. Listen, motherfuckers, you better get that bitch from half court, excuse me, from baseline to half in point 0.5 seconds. Do you motherfuckers understand me? And they all looked at him in sync. Yes, coach. That was the day the legend of Reggie Johnson from St. Joe's was made. Bro went off so bad, he ended up getting an offer from Fairleigh Dickinson, I believe, right after the game. I remember him holding his nuts to the crowd. It was epic. Picture that late night, packed gym, Vegas, and just two teams just beating the shit out of each other. It was so awesome. I'm going to give everyone a Pat Wood story as well, and Scott Lidskin. So Liddy had a team with a bunch of, there were some D1 players on it. And I'll never forget, we're in Vegas. It's like afternoon game. And we're up 20 on Louisiana Elite. This is before I think they were Under Armour or whatnot. And we're up 20 and a half. And, listen, I've coached in the city forever, so I kind of know the deal. And I glance over and I look at their huddle and I see their coach just hyping them up. And I went, I swallowed because I knew what was about to come. Dude, these dudes came out and beat the shit out of us in the second half, and they won by 20. So we walk into the locker room at Durango High School, and there's in the corner, there's like a dark area. And we turn, and Liddy shatters his clipboard. But in this little shadowy area, up against a wall like this, is Pat Woods hiding. And I wanted to hide. I've never seen Liddy get that pissed in my life. Sure, dude. We were up 20, and then we lost by 20 with Jay Price, who was an assistant in Illinois at the time, in the stands to watch Michael Orris. It was unbelievable. So those are some of my stories, my background. Coached at Maine East. I've helped out at a lot of places. I've coached probably 40,000 youth basketball games, maybe more. I'll give you my takeaway. Hopefully people listen to this. Doesn't matter if it's a rich community or a low-income community. Dads not being involved have fucked up these sons and these young men. In the North Shore, in these wealthy areas, dads are traveling and so worried about their check and their way of life. Their sons have no grit, no social skills. They make a fist. 7th, 8th graders make a fist with their thumb. Can't look you in the eye. And then they go from program to program to find someone that's going to kiss their ass. Find someone that won't call them out. But what they don't understand is their kid's going to get to high school and college and be left behind because everything's always been set up for them. I'm keeping it real with all of you. You need to let your son fail. You need to, once he fails, you need to let him pick himself up. And if he cries, good, let him fucking cry. But stop protecting. Stop. This is why your kids have anxiety issues. This is why your children are nervous, scared. The amount of parents I can correlate, like their kids being a soft fucking pussy to the dad being soft. I watch dads get yelled at by their children. Do you know what would happen in my house if you did that? That's right. You can think about it and do the math. And it starts at home. People don't understand, man. Your kid's going to get to college, have a major conflict, and not know how to solve it. Our first thing is, hey, they need therapy. They need a positive parent. They need a parent that's not a helicopter. I don't know. I know dads that are okay with their sons being mediocre. But they'll push back and say, no, I want him to be great. Well, why isn't he first in sprints? If like I teach my dude Jonah, you better be first in sprints, man. And if not, I don't want to hear shit about being great. Pushing, being a leader, being the one that sets the tone. But listen, you might make more money than me. Strong possibility. But my children have to compete with your children, for a job. There's no way any of your children are getting a job over my kids. I have 3 confident, well spoken young people in my house that have conflict resolution skills and do not suffer from anxiety. And I'll tell you right now, my family personally, if you know anything, my father committed suicide. His mother committed suicide. So mental health is an issue in our genetics, but you would never know with our children. Parents, pull your eyeballs out. Do a little reflection. If you need some help, ask me. It's okay. I'm not going to think any less of you. I want all children to be great. I'll see you all soon.